Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 189.
On Now You Know.
We're brought to you, as always, by our wonderful Patreon patrons who help support this show so that you can watch it every week.
And don't forget that as Amazon associates, we earn from qualifying purchases. There's a link down below you can use.
And we're brought to you by ecoware.us. Start positive conversations with carbon-negative products. We offset the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase, and we plant a tree for every order.
Hey, and you've got the new Electric Performance t-shirt on there, which you can get by going to electricperformance.tv.
Yeah.
Join the team, get your name on the car, and I am wearing a new one, which should remind you that during these tough times, it's a very good idea to do. All right, so let's get right into it. On Twitter Thursday, Musk was asked, what is the biggest change to Cybertruck from the prototype? And he responded that Tesla has reduced the size by about 3%. They've made the center line more level and lowered the windowsill height. So was this in response to people who were worried about fitting the Cybertruck into their garage?
I don't know if 3% is going to make enough of a difference. And as we said at the time, this thing is a garage. So I don't know why you need to put it in a garage. I mean, do you need a house for your house? Oh, your house. Oh, you need to look after your house. Build a house around it. I don't think that there's any need for this.
Yeah, and let's remember that Tesla is planning to bring the Cybertruck to market by the end of 2021. And Elon will be reviewing the overall system for the Cybertruck with Tesla's engineering team this week. Now, on Twitter, Elon went on to say, we're working on increasing dynamic air suspension travel for better off-roading. Needs to kick butt in Baja.
Now, what is Elon talking about when he says Baja?
Dust to glory.
What?
Awesome movie about Baja 1000 if you're interested in learning what it's like to be in the Baja. But the Baja 1000 is one of the most intense off-road races in the world. It's a 32-hour, grueling 1,000-mile race on the Baja Peninsula in Mexico where many drivers don't even make it to the end. You're driving through fine powdered sand at night, through the wilderness, and it's super duper intense. So this means, I think, that Tesla is planning on entering the Cybertruck into the Baja 1000.
Based off a single tweet from Elon Musk.
I mean, it said needs to kick butt in Baja.
Isn't that just sort of a style of racing?
I don't know.
I mean, so maybe he doesn't mean the Baja 1000 necessarily. He just means, Baja races that might take place all over the place.
I think we should talk to Blake about entering the Baja 1000 with the Cybertruck.
I want to do it.
All right.
I want to race it.
Well, it's a 32-hour race. You need more than one driver. You be one.
You do?
Yeah. You have multiple drivers.
I've stayed awake for 32 hours before.
There's only been one guy who did the race. That was Mouse, who drove the race all by himself on a motorcycle for 18 hours.
I know. And I'm going to be in a Cybertruck with air conditioning and radio and
radio.
Well,
you need a second driver just to tell you where the turns are coming.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, but I want to drive it.
I'm saying you can.
Okay, great, cool.
So then Tesla and the Gong asked, will this be an all-new air suspension or iteration of the Model XS air suspension? And Elon said,
all new.
Yes, of course.
I think that makes a lot of sense. For the truck, you really want non-street air suspension. You want off-road performance.
Now, I was kind of worried when I heard about the 3% reduction in size because when we got in the Tesla Cybertruck, it felt awesome in there. It can seat 6, and I don't want it to be any smaller. And that question got asked by Michael Hodges. He said, is the 3% change in Cybertruck size affecting the interior dimensions?
Elon said maybe 1.5% change to interior dimensions, still very roomy.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, when we're in there, you have a vaulted ceiling.
Yeah.
I mean, what car has a vaulted ceiling?
Chandelier.
You really, honestly, like a little mini chandelier, it'd be hilarious.
So here's what the changes would look like. And thanks to Pablo Cobarle and Electrek. So here's before, Jesse.
Okay.
And here is after.
Are they going to switch it?
Well, they did.
What are you
I'm sorry.
talking
You
about?
want to see it again?
Yeah.
Here's before.
Yes.
And here's after. Okay.
You got to switch.
Okay, I'm going to help you.
Are you guys switching the image? Are you changing it at all? Jeepers.
They are working. It's just it's subtle. Let me do it this way. Hey, guys, can you swipe from before to after? How about that? Does that help?
Oh.
See? See what it
I'm
did?
really liking the after. So, I mean, I
Yeah.
see what he means about you're leveling out that center line. So it's not like as aggressively lean forward, which kind of looks a little dopey in my, I love the look of the truck, but it looks so much better now that I'm seeing it like this. Also, yeah, that lowered windowsill, it makes such a big difference.
It does.
It's almost like car design is its own like thing that you could get really, really good at, in that everyone who is like, it's just a triangle, was wrong, because you make a subtle change like that and you're like, oh, I actually can see the difference when you do the slider.
So then to continue on Cybertruck changes, Elon tweeted last week this response to Brendan, who said, will Cybertruck have colors? And Elon said, you will be able to wrap it in any color or pattern.
And this surprised people. They went, but wait, it's going to be stainless steel, which is what it's made out of. And it's like, yes, what did you expect? How many colors were you expecting?
It's new for people. I mean, they haven't seen a DeLorean in years, and so they weren't expecting. Now, our own Ruben tweeted that tempering is probably not a good idea, because some people were saying, why don't you just temper the stainless steel to get these colors?
So that's kind of like bluing. You can kind of like, you basically heat up steel and it changes colors.
But it also changes the hardness, as Ruben points out, so you can make it more brittle, which you wouldn't want to do. But Ruben did recommend that you could coat the steel with titanium, and here are some color choices you could get if you did that.
Yeah, and you know what? You don't have to wrap the car. You could also just paint it with whatever you wanted, and then when you were done, you just scrape it off, because it's stainless steel. You can do whatever you want. I mean, all these people who are saying like, oh, I'm not going to be able to paint it. I can't get it in different colors. Like, you can paint it. Relax. It's not anti-paint material. It's just stainless steel, which is how they're selling it. So that way, when you get a scratch, you don't go, my paint.
So Moss asked this on Friday, hey Tesla, I was thinking with this shutdown we're all going through, is it possible to extend free referral supercharging miles since we can't go anywhere? Thanks in advance. And Elon said,
will do.
What is he talking about? I forget. What's the free supercharging?
So the referral program, the way it works is you get 1,000 miles of free supercharging, and your friend who uses your code to buy the car gets 1,000 miles of free supercharging. But
for
only
6 months.
Last 6 months. And that's to basically, use it or lose it kind of deal. But obviously, since you can't use it right now, the tweet was to ask if we can extend that time, and Elon said, sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, nice. I mean, keep in mind, 1,000 miles of supercharging is maybe like $40-$50. It's not a lot of money.
Right.
Although 1,000 miles of gas would be
A lot more.
quite a bit more.
All right, it's time for Throwback Thursdays. And do you remember this, Jesse? This goes back to September 13th, 2016, our very first episode of Tesla Time News, and we talked about the BMW 330e. Check it out. A lot of car companies, including Toyota and BMW, have said to themselves, hey, wait, let's try and get these possible buyers that we know they want electric cars. They're stuck waiting. So let's start running some ads. So BMW has started running a 30-second ad where they show a person walking out into a parking lot, and they show some Tesla Superchargers, and they're like, why wait when you can buy the BMW 330e plug-in hybrid? This car gets 14 miles of electric range.
What is the point?
Right. I don't think any Tesla buyers are going to be dumb enough to switch from a 3 to a BMW 330e. Well, guess what? The BMW 330e is finally getting an update. We were pretty unimpressed by the paltry 14 miles of EV range.
But now, it has doubled its range.
28 miles?
Well, okay, double, not 28 miles from 14, it's 23.
Well, at least that's a little bit more usable range, and they're improving. So that's good.
Yeah, well, the range went up, but the miles per gallon went down.
I'm sorry. So can you say that again?
The efficiency of the car went down when you're not driving on the 23 miles of range you have.
But again, the point of plug-in hybrids is to offer a lower cost. It's a green vehicle.
Yeah, it starts at $45,545.
So let me get this straight. The Model 3 Standard Range Plus costs $5,500 less and has 227 miles more of range.
Yes, it does. And if you went for the base Model 3, you'd be paying about $10,000 less and still have over 200 miles more range.
I mean, when we ran this story 3.5 years ago.
3.5 years ago. This was the first episode of Tesla Time News. You can't go any further back than that. We were like, whoa, this sucks. Now, years have passed. There was no Model 3.
Nope.
At all. We knew the price.
Right.
We knew that it would cost $35,000. We didn't know what it would look like. We had maybe an idea of the range, but we thought it was going to be 215 miles.
But you know what's funny is that just 15 months later, we got our first Model 3.
Exactly. From that episode. And it's just been going from there. Now you can get a Model Y. And the biggest update to BMW's lineup, BMW has not put out an electric car in that time.
Wow.
Am I right about that?
They haven't, yeah, the i3 and the i8.
Those were already out.
Yeah.
And the iNext is coming, but it is not here yet.
Wow.
And the biggest update that we've really seen, aside from them being like, well, we're going to cancel the i3 and the i8, the biggest positive update is this increase in range by not a lot of, it was 9 miles of extra range.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that that's awful. 23 miles is like most people's commutes. So that's cool if you drive to work and you're able to plug in and get home. Like there's a positive thing in there. It's just that it also has a
gas engine.
It also has a gas engine in there, and it's not a particularly efficient one.
You remember, Jesse, the Tesla Hornsdale battery. It's the biggest battery in the world.
Yes, it's located right here in South Australia.
Well, guess what? It just got 50% bigger. Neon, the French company that owns the battery, just added 50 megawatts or 64.5 megawatt hours of capacity to the site earlier this month, making the new battery 150 megawatts or 193.5 megawatt hours. And the other cool part about this story is that the Tesla Hornsdale battery saved customers $116 million last year alone in Australia.
So our buddy Mike traveled out to the Lucid factory out in Arizona, and he got some drone shots for us. So yeah, let's see what he got.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. This is Mike coming to you from Casa Grande, Arizona, and I think you know what's there. It's the Lucid factory currently being built, and I'm going to show you some drone footage of it, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for all that you do. Keep the good news coming. We'll talk to you later.
Well, you guys had mentioned that the construction might be slowing down due to the zombie apocalypse going on right now, but as you can see, it's an active construction site, and all around the building on all sides there's activity going on with people and movement. The interior of the building, you can see several structures going up. It's definitely progressing. I have no idea if they're going to be on time according to what they said in the past. If I had to guess, I would say that probably closer to next year before they start kicking cars out, but who knows? They might do very well, and it'll be interesting to see.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was awesome. Really awesome. I'm so glad to see, when like the first Ford plant was being built, do you think were people this excited?
Did they have little drones that they were throwing up?
I don't know what you do, throw a camera?
Putting cameras on a bird.
Yeah. I just think that this is really exciting that there is actually some stuff happening. It's very promising to see.
It shows that the Tesla model is being copied.
Yeah, exactly. Build a factory and then build cars. I mean, hard to build cars without a factory, but I'm just glad that this is actually a real thing. We haven't really seen much of the Lucid factory, and seeing is believing. If yesterday you were like, Lucid's building their factory and it looks like this, I'd been like, okay, I want to see it. Now we can see it. It's not very big compared to the Tesla Gigafactory. Now, that's not a negative thing. They need to finish this factory and start pumping out cars, which is supposed to happen at the end of this year.
Right.
I think that's still possible. And keep in mind that there's still room for expansion. They have that built into the plan of the site. So if you're looking at it and you're like, that is not as big as the Gigafactory, I am upset. Keep in mind that there is room for improvement because they're in the middle of Arizona.
Now, you remember last year that Tesla acquired a small company called DeepScale that was working on deep neural networks. Well, it appears now from a patent filing that just days after that acquisition, Tesla applied for a patent called Systems and Methods for Training Machine Models with Augmented Data. And listed as the inventors are 3 members of DeepScale.
So what is the patent for?
Basically, training a neural net using the output of a bunch of cameras and other sensors is hard. You've got all this data coming in with different resolutions and sizes.
Okay, that seems to make sense. So how does it work?
I'll read from the patent here.
Okay.
It'll make perfect sense. Train the computer model to learn to predict the training output based on an image training set, including the images and the set of augmented images.
What?
I'll put it this way. Elon said this pretty well last year. He said, neural net is absorbing more and more of the problem. It's where the car goes into a scene with 8 cameras and kind of paints a path, and then you can label that path in 3D.
Oh, that's a little bit easier to understand. So our friend Patrick up in Sweden has found another way to plug in and increase the range of his electric car.
Hello, this is Patrick from Sweden, and this is my 2016 Tesla Model X. And I just put in a electric ice preheater in it. Well, the story is that in the Nordic countries, many homes and workplaces got ice preheat outlets. Many cars got heaters pre-installed from the car dealership without voiding the warranty, and often with electric cabin heaters as well, like this ice over here, or even this old tractor. You can see the heater here. Most outlets are not meant as charger outlets, thus charging is prohibited. Well, if I at least may get full regen when leaving work, it would be nice. I like regen. So in collaboration with the Swedish preheat manufacturer Calix, we began to sketch out a well-functioning preheater for the battery pack. It is a 1000-watt heater with a thermostat set to about 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit and a circulation pump. This is the cable, and you can hear the pump. The bonus is, of course, that I don't need to use battery power to preheat, and I don't need to remember to preheat from the app. The ultra bonus is summer range all year around, and the difference is huge. Thanks for now, and this has been Patrick from Sweden. For now, you know.
Okay, so let me get this straight. There's a pump you add with the heating element. You plug it into the wall. It heats up just the battery loop to warm up the battery before you go. And then once you start driving, the battery can now receive energy when you're braking, which means you get all that regen braking back.
Yeah, so I mean, not only do you get the increase because of the regen braking, but also just because when the batteries are warmer, you're able to actually have a better range. Leaf drivers know what I'm talking about.
Now, wait a minute. Doesn't he void the warranty if he does some work to the car?
He doesn't know. Truthfully, in Sweden, most cars have this as an add-on, and it doesn't void the warranty, basically because, winter, it's hard to start an internal combustion engine car when it's very, very, very cold because of a multitude of reasons. And so if you heat up that engine block, it will start the car.
So couldn't Tesla just add this as an option so that all cars in Norway and Sweden and Finland, and even anywhere that's cold, have this built in?
Yeah, and so this is the part where it's kind of unclear as to what Tesla does, because it would be great to have a pre-warming feature in your car. At the moment, you can precondition for departure, but you have to set that up inside your car for a specific time the next day. You can't from your app just be like, precondition the car. One of the things that Patrick pointed out was that a lot of these plugs don't have enough power to charge your car at any reasonable high rate. His unit, again, uses 1 kilowatt, which is not that much considering that you're usually pulling about 3 from the wall. So 1 kilowatt is not that bad. I think that Tesla could, with all the components they have in the car and just a few lines of code, simply warm up the battery pack when you give it a command, have it plugged in, and it just in precondition mode, you know that it's not going to damage any of the electrical that you're plugged into that isn't made for doing anything other than warming up, engine blocks.
Now, we've been reporting on GM's opposition to clean air standards here in the U.S., but what do their customers think? Well, according to a survey of 1,000 GM customers by the Union of Concerned Scientists, they found that at the beginning of the survey, 30% of GM customers said they might consider purchasing from another brand. But after survey respondents learned about GM's corporate behavior, 67%, more than double, said that they would choose another manufacturer.
And GM's favorability dropped from 93% to 44%.
Yeah. 82% of Republicans and 93% of Democrats who own GM vehicles think GM should support stronger pollution standards designed to help the environment and improve gas mileage.
76% of GM owners say that their opinion of the company would improve if GM were to reverse the course and oppose the lawsuit against strong state standards.
Now, Dave Cook, a senior vehicles analyst for the Clean Transportation Program at UCS, said GM's actions are making their own customers consider other brands, and they're decimating their reputation as a corporate innovator in the process.
So I think that the interesting thing here is that there is a fine line between people who like GM and those exact same people not liking GM. And that one simple thing is knowledge. As soon as they learn of what GM is doing, their opinions immediately change. And GM, basically, their strategy is going to be, don't let anyone learn about it.
Yep.
And that's so flimsy, that's so paper thin that we can poke holes right through it. It's not a good strategy. They're not doing the right thing. And the great news is most people actually care when they know about it. It's just a matter of like, if you've never heard of something before, you're not going to know about it. So I encourage you to head over to our clips channel where we have this story as its own individual little clip. You can send it directly to your friends who might own a GM vehicle or might be considering owning a GM vehicle and just let them know, hey, GM isn't doing such a great things with the world. And most people who hear what they're doing decide against it.
So Elon tweeted in response last week to Anner J. Bonilla's question about how reverse summon is coming.
What's reverse summon? It can summon backwards.
We're talking about auto park. Auto summon is where the car drops you off and then goes and parks itself.
Oh, you're not summoning it to you. You're
Right.
reverse summon. That's great.
I know. That's
Great way to explain it.
Elon said, we're working super hard on getting traffic lights and stops released. Reverse summon, auto park, will be part of the core AP software upgrade for full self-driving later this year.
Cool. We're in the future.
I know.
That's great.
Karma Automotive, which was formerly known as Fisk Automotive, remember, they went bankrupt back in 2013 and were bought by a Chinese auto parts conglomerate, Wangjian Group, along with battery maker A123. They renamed the company Karma Automotive and released a hybrid Revero last year and sold 1,000 units.
That's the car that looks exactly like the Fisker Karma.
Right.
But now it's the
Revero.
the Karma Revero.
Right.
Fisker Karma, Karma Revero. Man, Karma's a
Well, now Karma is announcing the Revero GTE, which is an all-electric sedan to be built in Southern California. It will be offered in 3 configurations, a 200-mile, 300-mile, and 400-mile range car, and it should come to market next year. Now, here are the specs. 0 to 60 in less than 3.9 seconds, electronic torque vectoring, 2 battery pack options at first, the 200-mile, which is 75 kilowatt hours, and the 300-mile. The 400-mile will happen at a later date. It'll have DC 150 kilowatt fast charging. It'll have AC charging at 11 kilowatts, so it'll achieve a full charge overnight. And the hybrid Revero GT is the only one we know about the price for right now. That is $144,800 starting price.
Wow.
So I'm imagining that the GTE is probably going to be more. So Elon tweeted last week, Giga Berlin will have the world's most advanced paint shop with more layers of stunning colors that subtly change with curvature. He went on to say, initial production at Giga Berlin is Model Y. To be clear, Fremont and Shanghai will also be upgraded over time, but it's hard to retrofit these improvements to an operating paint shop.
So it's going to be an even better paint shop? We're going to have
so.
even more colors? They're going to have better color options?
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're going to have more of these deep colors. Maybe there's like some new clear coat technology they're going to be using in the paint shop so you can get those kind of awesome, like multi-dimensional colors.
Ooh, neat.
Lucky you, Europe.
Yeah, and you get the Model Y built right in Europe. That's
Yeah.
going to be exciting.
All right, so shots fired here, Jesse. This is a story to do with SpaceX.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't understand how SpaceX operates. So I thought this would be kind of, well, this tweet thread is kind of explains things.
Okay.
All right, so Eric Berger tweeted out, this article is well reported, but let's be real. Vertical rocket reuse is all of 3 years old. SpaceX is surely saving money on launches, and if the Falcon 9 weren't already insanely cheaper than everyone else, the company could cut prices substantially. So Elon said, true, the only reason other medium and heavy lift rocket companies are winning any missions at all is due to government intervention. Otherwise, they'd be as defunct as expendable airplane companies. ULA is powered by lobbying.
Ooh.
Shots fired. All right, so we got a lot of pushback on that because people were like, wait a minute. Someone G said, ULA is also more reliable than SpaceX. Generally, when you do iterative testing, things fail and are initially unsafe. Both sides have benefits and weaknesses, but saying that the only reason SpaceX doesn't have a monopoly is lobbying is just not true. Eric Berger said, maybe check Block 5's record. So we did. Here's the record. And if you look at the top there, the most dependable rocket is
the Block 5 Falcon 9. Now, keep in mind that that is the Block 5. That means it's the 5th iteration of the Falcon 9 rocket. Right. And so when we're talking about the next most reliable rocket, the Atlas V, you see that it does actually have more launches than the Falcon 9 Block 5, but it has been in service for much, much, much longer.
Right. Then Elon went on to say, also, it costs less to ensure a Falcon 9 mission. That's the acid test. And Michael asked, how much less? Elon said, last I checked, over $1 million less. Moreover, Falcon 9 is launching far more often and is the only rocket fully NASA approved for launching astronauts. So that gap is increasing. So Everyday Astronaut said, what do you mean by only rocket fully NASA approved for launching astronauts? What about the Atlas V N2 too? Hasn't that passed certification with OFT-1? And don't forget about Soyuz. And Elon said, sorry, meant to say only US rocket. Atlas V is close, but not yet 100%. And then Everyday Astronaut said, Atlas V is an American rocket, well, minus the engines. And Elon said, yeah, Atlas main engine is Russian. Great engine, but not US. Also, their fairing is Swiss. I think interstage and payload separation system, also not US. Elon went on to say, fundamentally, Atlas is still dependent on Russia to launch. And then John Krause asked, what percentage of SpaceX hardware is made in the US? And Elon said, all. So, just saying here, really good point that I think we should be talking about, which is that if you want to go for a new technology and you want to pay less, the U.S. government should stop paying ULA and other manufacturers for their very outdated technology and go with the new technology, which is tried and true. 46 out of 46 launches on the Block 5 have been successful.
Right. And that has been in a relatively, not even a relatively, that has been an extremely short period of time, especially when we're talking about rocket launches.
Yeah.
They have been launching rockets constantly, not like crazy. Isn't it bad to have a monopoly on space travel? Yeah. And I would love to see ULA work on a reusable rocket to bring their costs and their prices down. Because once you can do that, now you have two companies that can compete meaningfully. Because right now, the reason that SpaceX can charge whatever they really want for a launch is because it's still way cheaper than whatever ULA would charge for a launch.
Yeah, I mean, the other companies are spending a lot of their money on lobbying instead of on innovation.
Right.
And I don't know, they're caught with their pants down. So instead of just being like, guys, we got to shift gears here and go to reusable rockets, they're like, you know what? Let's just spend more on lobbying.
I will take that guy out for golf and steaks, and I'll say, hey, Mr. Senator, Congressperson, blah, blah, blah. Well, why don't you use our rocket? It costs a little bit more, but it's reliable, and blah, blah, blah.
This is where you come in. Demand of your politicians that the money gets spent wisely for missions that we want, missions to get us off of this planet and onto another planet.
Right. And it's just really nice to have someone who can do something, who is doing something, to actually meaningfully move us towards a goal of being an interplanetary species. I love that is one of the biggest reasons why I love Elon Musk, because that goal is so transcendent beyond everything else that we talk about on this show or anything else in the world, really. It would be the single most important thing that we ever do as a human society, a human species.
All right, some good news here. According to the Associated Press, Judge Brian Morris said that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers failed to adequately consider effects on endangered species such as the pallid sturgeon, a massive dinosaur-like fish that lives in rivers the pipeline would cross.
What are you talking about? What?
I'm sorry, I got so excited here because it's good news. I'm talking about the Keystone XL pipeline. So you remember, the Keystone XL pipeline is an $8 billion oil project to expand the existing pipeline that's already owned by TC Energy. That's the pipeline that runs from Alberta to Texas. This is the pipeline that last October spilled 383,000 gallons of tar sands oil in northeastern North Dakota.
Right. That awful, like, movie villain-esque plot type thing.
So a judge has put a halt to it.
That's fantastic news.
For now.
That's, hey.
But there's 2 more lawsuits coming up, so we've got some more ammunition in the gun. So hopefully we can stop this thing.
That's awesome. And I mean, have you seen a pallet sturgeon before?
No.
Those things are nutso.
Whoa, you're right.
So Tesla has just unveiled a new feature for the Powerwall. When a power outage happens at your house, normally if you had your Tesla charging, your Powerwall would continue charging your car even though your house now also needs power. Well, Tesla has added a new Powerwall feature.
Yeah, they say Powerwall now coordinates with Tesla vehicles during a power outage to charge your car without exceeding the energy and power capabilities of your Powerwall. The Powerwall reacts to the power needs of your home and will slow or stop your vehicle's charging, keeping your home loads powered. During a power outage, your Tesla vehicle will charge from the Powerwall whenever it is above the threshold set in the Tesla app. You can change this threshold to balance your home and transportation energy needs. Keep your vehicle plugged in while the sun is shining, and surplus solar energy will charge your vehicle. Charging stops when Powerwall's stored energy drops below your set threshold. Well, this may sound like a small change, but it's actually pretty cool because, yeah, late at night, let's say you're asleep, power goes out, you're not even aware of it. And when you wake up in the morning, you might find that other things lost power because your Powerwall ran out of energy trying to power your car.
Right. So this is really smart. And one of the interesting things here is that it will charge your car once you get over a certain threshold in your Powerwall battery. You might be saying, well, how would the energy in your battery go up? Well, if you have solar on your roof, you would be able to do that. Charge your car with the energy from the sun that you're gathering that no longer fits into your Powerwall. I think Tesla's getting even closer to where you can just like cut that cable.
Nice.
And just run your house on solar energy and still have an electric car that absorbs a lot of energy.
Scientists are back, Jesse.
Where did they go?
Oh, I'll tell you where they went. Back in October of 2017, former head of the EPA, Scott Pruitt, issued a directive that U.S. top scientists could not serve on 23 advisory committees to the EPA.
But why?
Well, he said that some of them were receiving funding from different federal grants, and so that was a conflict of interest.
Oh, okay. So then he found other, like, really smart people to fill the place who didn't have any conflicts of interest?
Well, according to this lawsuit raised by the Natural Resources Defense Council, or NRDC, they sued, saying that no, there was no reason to fire them, and recently Judge Denise Coate found that the EPA failed to articulate any reason or provide any evidentiary basis for its decision. Meanwhile, though, the EPA was allowing consultants and others who work for or received funding from the chemical and fossil fuel industries to serve on those committees.
Wait, hang on.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you wanted me to answer your question. So basically, the EPA was allowing people who worked for the fossil fuel industries and the chemical industries to serve on those committees. People
with conflicts of interest.
Would have definite conflicts of interest, but saying you smart top scientists in the U.S. can't be on this advisory committees.
I just want to say corruption. Hello. That's corruption. Hi, everybody. Thank goodness that we have, a judicial system that can actually function properly. But, we're just one crooked judge away from these sorts of lawsuits from not working. Like, we're on our last line of defense here.
Well, and you need the judicial system, you need someone to bring these lawsuits. And if it weren't for the NRDC, and I just found out this is their 107th lawsuit against the Trump administration's environmental rollbacks, and the NRDC has won 60 out of 65 cases that have been resolved to date. If you didn't have groups like that bringing these lawsuits, we wouldn't even know about this.
And nothing would be getting done. There'd be no pushback against blatant corruption. That is as blatant as you can get.
Well, and the other problem is, he issued this directive, and then it takes 2.5 years to get through the courts to find out that was illegal,
right,
so that we can reverse it. And in those 2.5 years, what are they doing?
They're rolling back all sorts of stuff and doing all sorts of terrible, awful, mean, nasty things.
Yeah. So we interviewed Mark Nabong from the NRDC, and you can go check out his interview right here to find out more about what the NRDC does. So Jesse, Ford has filed for a trademark for the name Fastor Charge.
Oh, cool. A patent for a faster charger.
No, I'm sorry. I said a trademark for the name Fastor Charge.
They're not making a faster charger?
Well, they're naming it the Fastor Charger.
And what is this for?
For, this. It's just like the Supercharger. This is Ford's version of it.
It's the Fastor charger.
Right.
Okay. So there was just some board meeting where you had some guy, he's like, okay, so and as you can see, here is the design of the Ford Charger, which I definitely didn't plagiarize or copy from anything at all.
All right, well, that's great, Jenkins. What's the name of it?
The name? That wasn't my job, actually.
If you don't give me a name, you're fired.
I was thinking the faster charger.
That sounds good. So it's faster than Tesla's Charger. I like it.
Well, it's not.
You can't write this stuff, people. What? Why are they? It's the dumbest name I've ever heard, first of all.
I mean, let's think.
Second of all, it's not faster. You just named your network Fastor. It's not. So the Wall Street Journal reports an email that Tesla has sent to its landlords.
Tesla has landlords?
Tesla stores are usually in malls and stuff, and they're leasing that space.
Okay, and they sent a letter to them?
Yeah, they said, the rapid world pandemic that is now affecting our country has led Tesla to make strategic decisions to ensure the company's long-term success and growth. As a result of the increasing restrictions on our ability to conduct business, we would like to inform you that we will be reducing our monthly rent obligations effective immediately.
You can do that?
So what did we tell you? On Thursday last week, the EPA announced that it is not appropriate and necessary to regulate emissions of mercury and other hazardous air pollutants from coal and oil-fired power plants. So remember that in 2012, the EPA enacted the Mercury and Air Toxics Standards, MATS, and they stated on their website, this is right from their website, actually. You can go there today. It says, protecting our children and communities by limiting emissions of mercury and other air toxics from power plants. That's on the EPA's website right now.
And now it is not appropriate or necessary to do that.
I mean, who cares about polluting our air with mercury, really? Is it that important? I mean, isn't money the most important thing? I mean, that's more important than damaged lungs and brains and other organs, right? Good old EPA head Andrew Wheeler has done it again. So thanks, Andy. Who cares about saving a few hundred lives per year and saving children's brains?
Yeah, when we could save money. Money. Oh, yeah. Oh, so delicious. Which is a pretty good metaphor for what they're doing.
Exactly.
It's about that unhealthy.
Yes. As Ellen Kurlansky, a former air policy analyst at the EPA Office of Air and Radiation from 1996 to 2018 said, this action, which is a gift to the coal industry at the expense of all Americans, is an attack on public health justified by a phony cost-benefit analysis that purposely inflates the cost of MATS and ignores the value of the human health benefits. Based on that deception, EPA says that the benefits of MATS aren't worth the cost. Those benefits include the value of thousands of lives saved by MATS each year, hundreds of thousands of illnesses avoided each year, and avoided damage to the developing brains of the unborn.
And if you don't believe us, there's a new study that has been published in the journal Nature. This was basically a natural experiment that happened in Louisville, Kentucky, where one coal-fired power plant was retired and converted to natural gas, and 3 others installed sulfur dioxide emission control systems between 2013 and 2016.
So naturally, these power plants changed, and they were able to measure something?
So in this area, there had been this electronic asthma inhaler basically program that had been tested out. Basically, these were smart inhalers, so that you knew when they were being used. Basically, 2 nice things happened where you had a bunch of good data, and you had a bunch of coal power plants all closing down in a very similar geographical area. And so the study looked at the frequency of the total number of asthma-related emergency room visits and hospitalizations per zip code in Jefferson County, as well as the frequency of asthma rescue medication used among 207 people. The researchers found that energy transitions in the spring of 2015 resulted in 3 fewer hospitalizations and emergency room visits per zip code per quarter, and there are many zip codes in Jefferson County when comparing areas that had high coal-fired power plant emission exposure prior to the transition to those with lower levels. This translates into nearly 400 avoided hospitalizations and emergency room visits each year across Jefferson County. That is one county. Wow. One county. 400 hospitalizations.
All right, it's time for our video contributor stories, and you can shoot one of these as well. Remember that we're looking for stories about things that are going on in your neck of the woods, so send them on in at zach@nowyouknowchannel.com. And video contributor stories is supported by GoPuck.
Yeah, GoPuck makes great battery banks. If you've seen Blake Fuller over on the Electric Performance channel, he is the person who is responsible for them. They are more energy dense than a Model 3. Which is cool. Pretty cool. And they can charge up your phone like many, many, many times, and they fit right in your pocket along with like other things in your pocket.
Yeah, so check out our referral link and discount code in the show notes below. All right, so for our video contributor story this week, we've got a mud flap buildup.
Over the last few weeks, I've heard and seen some stories on YouTube about the Tesla Model 3 mud flaps that Tesla has sent to many people about these mud flaps gathering dirt and that they don't drain properly. So to find out what's going on, these mud flaps have been on for about a month now, and I'm going to remove them and see what things look like. And let's see what's showing here. Actually, that's not bad. So pulling back the wheel well cover, I don't really see any buildup in this area. Just a little bit of dirt sitting right there that hasn't drained, but it's all fine particles that with high pressure wash would be fine. I think I'm just going to leave these on for the rest of the winter and see what things look like in the springtime. My concern was that if there was a lot of buildup and this whole area was full, then I'd be concerned. But this looks fine to me. I'll just put it back on and see how things look in the springtime. So the mud flap is on back on this side, and again you can see on the ground the amount of dirt that was in there. So really nothing. And in North America on the driver's side, that's usually the dirty side. I'll take a look at the other side, but I won't remove the flap and just see what things look like. This is the passenger side of the Tesla mud flaps, and I don't see anything any different than compared to the driver's side. So one of the reasons that things might be clean underneath there is the clamping force that I can get with these hex screw heads. That might have something to do with providing a better seal to the wheel well there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, it's time now for the Patreon bonus stories. This is where you can support the show and get some even more great content. We're going to go over and record that right now, and Zach is going to get very, very upset about something. So if you're interested in seeing anything like that, you can head over to patreon.com, support us for just $1 a month or more, and get access to this.
Hey, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. That was a lot of fun. I got my anger out.
And we gave away some secrets.
That's right. There are some secrets in
There's
there.
some secrets.
All right, it's time for our Patreon shout-out. These are the awesome folks that support us at $5 or more a month. Who do we got this week?
We got Jim Kelly,
We got Peter Litherland,
Bennett Elder,
Satu Thundatal,
Frode Birkeland,
Dylan and Julie,
Louis Beal,
Danny A. Murphy,
Chris Tesla 3,
Liam Weber,
Chris Clark,
and Peter Dykman.
Thank you so much for supporting this show. We can't do it without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week, and he's been busy again.
Yes.
So, Jason said, Elon, any chance of seeing Tesla insurance in Florida soon?
Elon said probably 3 to 6 months.
Third Row Tesla Podcast said, Battery and Powertrain Investor Day. And Elon said, just Battery Day, but it will be great. Plaid Powertrain will be later this year. Then Elon followed up and said, in case it's not already obvious, our product plan is basically stolen from Spaceballs. Sophion said, was that the plan all along or delayed due to the pandemic? Either way, super excited for both events. Thanks. Elon said, there's a lot to talk about just on the battery front. So yeah, just that. I guess we could answer some powertrain questions in the Q&A.
Ooh, all right. Another reason to listen in on that.
Third Row Tesla Podcast said, theoretically, it should be possible to improve smart summons routing algorithms if Tesla had their own database of GPS points and driving data for Teslas in parking lots. Then they could just query to get a sense of where the lanes are as long as Teslas have driven through. Elon said,
this will happen.
Jordan Clark said, didn't government intervention save Tesla? And David Holtman said, are you talking about the loans which Tesla paid back with interest years ago, but other auto OEMs did not? And Elon said, exactly. In mid-2009, Tesla received non-binding approval for a loan program actually signed into law by Bush in late 2008. First actual disbursement was Q2 2010, long after the banking danger passed. Loan was repaid early with interest. Taxpayers made money on it. Elon went on to say, Tesla was saved by an investment in May 2009 from Daimler, not government. Without that Daimler support, Tesla would have died. Super appreciated. And then Neil deGrasse Tyson said, I've never wanted or owned a sports car, but if I did, this is how I would lean on it. And Elon said,
it's about 10% too small, but lots of fun. And I've been in a Tesla Roadster. It is 10% too small.
And then Everyday Astronaut said, there's probably no better time than now to look at having humans permanently, sustainably living on other worlds, so something like a pandemic can't destroy our species, and learning how to live and survive on inhospitable worlds will lead to massive breakthroughs for life on Earth.
Elon said, exactly.
And then Viv said, Tesla's and Elon Musk's most underappreciated advantage is attracting the world's top talent. Great engineers like 99th percentile great are extremely hard to find, as there's just a limited amount of them. Vision, drive, and instant gratification are key.
Elon said true.
And then lastly, some good news here. Human spaceflight returning to America on May 27th. This was retweeted by Elon, and that's really something to look forward to.
This would be the first time since the retirement of the space shuttle that U.S. astronauts would be taking off from U.S. soil.
That's really cool. Something
really
to look forward
cool.
to. I'm
Yeah.
excited. All right, it's time for Community Mail Time.
Community mail time.
So we got this from Scott. He said, a tree fell on my Model 3 today.
Oh, no.
After a little buffing, not a scratch on it.
Whew.
Not sure where the poor paint narrative came from, but this car took on Mother Nature like a champ. And Jose spotted his first Model Y in Chula Vista, California. And our friend Andreas, who designed the Cyber hatchback, has designed a new Cyber vehicle. This is a Cyber SUV, so it may look almost identical to the Cybertruck, but this one is just an SUV. And if Tesla came out with one of those, like, oh, you don't like the Model X and the Falcon Wing doors? Here, have a bulletproof SUV. I think that would be pretty popular, especially since on the production line, you're just folding it differently.
And then from our friend Finn in New Zealand, he said, to Zach and Jesse and the Now You Know team, I'm very happy to say you guys were the influence for me and Sarah to buy a Model 3. We've waited 3.5 years here in New Zealand, and now we finally get to have our Model 3. Once again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Keep up the fantastic work all of you do, and here is to a cleaner, greener future.
And stick around to see his destination charger review.
All right, it's time for our on-air question of the week.
This comes to us from Philip. He said, I just got an idea. Wouldn't it be cool if you could save dash cam footage from the car to your phone over Bluetooth? As a programmer, I can tell you that this feature is not so hard to implement as it may sound. The Bluetooth connection is already in place to transfer files over it. It is easy. So
Do it!
I think that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
Either Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or whatever. Send the footage to my phone.
Love it.
Because I mean,
Could you also do it over Wi-Fi?
yeah, I think you could do it all over all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I think if there's like a little, like the little share button. I don't know. You wouldn't like want to share it to your Facebook profile page, maybe, but
Maybe.
you could at least pop it in an email, a message to someone, maybe a text message, or just send it directly to your phone, and then you can send it out from there, to the police or whatever you need to do.
All right, it's time for Supercharger Reviews, and this is sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessories store. So if you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla and you've got some time on your hands, wait, I think you do, check out Evannex and use our discount code to save you even more.
And in fact, I just got a front lift from Evannex, and it works really great. We used it the other day. I was able to, without touching my car, open the frunk, have my little wipes in there. Worked out really well.
Yeah.
Hi, it's a beautiful day in Florida. and I'm at the Clearwater Supercharger, 8 stall, close to the highway, close to Highway 19. Highway 19 is right there. It's right in back of the Wawa gas station. Lots of things to eat and drink there. And the only other place nearby is the Chick-fil-A. This is a 250 kilowatt charger, and I would give it a rating of about 7 out of 10. Close to the highway, but not much to do. Now you know. Clearwater, Florida, 250 kilowatt.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, this is Neil from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and the new Supercharger just got completed. We've got 8 stalls with a Sheetz and a Costco across the street, as well as a McDonald's. Great Supercharger. It's off of Greenfield Road exit on Route 30. I'd rate this an 8 out of 10. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, this is Matthew Dean reporting from Dover, Delaware, here at the 8-stall Supercharger. This is typically what you'll see when you're here. This Supercharger doesn't get a whole lot of heavy use, but you are at a nice Wawa, so you do have some food and drink options. Just down the road you have a Dunkin' Donuts, and on the other side of the street here you have a Starbucks, and a little bit of a walk you have an AMC movie theater and mall. So all in all, standard Supercharger here, so I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Thanks. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. I'm here at the Wausau, Wisconsin Supercharger. It is an 8-stall. This was actually just opened in the middle of last year. It's version 2, and as you can see, my Model 3 is the only one here this morning. We have lots of amenities nearby. You can maybe kind of see over my shoulder, that is the Rib Mountain ski area in the background, so you're close to that. The Superchargers are actually in the parking lot of the Hilton Garden Inn, so if you're looking for somewhere to spend a night. Across the street we have a BP gas station convenience store. You can't really see it from here, but the IHOP is also there, so if you like pancakes, that's a good spot to have your breakfast. So there you go. I would rate this, given the amount of amenities around here for central Wisconsin, I'd give this an 8. Now you know.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. I have a special one for you today. We're here in New Zealand. We're outside of Wanaka. We're at the Cadrona Hotel, a bit hard to see, but we have 2 Tesla destination chargers, and I don't know, I think this place is awesome. It's beautiful, and there's so much to see. But yeah, update.
Oh, and that's our buddy Finn.
Yeah, and what a cool destination charger. I love those. I feel like I've seen more than one of that type of like post.
Yeah.
But looks really cool. What a neat place. I love Tesla adventures like that.
I want to get to New Zealand sometime.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's time for new Superchargers. What do we got, Jess?
There's only one. It is number 810 in the U.S., number 1,849 in the world. It is an 8-stall version 3, so 250 kilowatt supercharger in North Canaan, Connecticut.
And it's time for our Patreon giveaway.
All right.
All right, so you remember this. If you want to get in this big bucket of fun, become a Patreon, and the more you support us, the more times we get your name in there. And if you win, the winner this week is going to get an EcoWare t-shirt. You might want to choose this one. Remind everyone not to stand so close to you. And we're designing all of our EcoWare stuff with solar energy. We're completely carbon offset. You buy a tee, we plant a tree. So help support the show, spread the word. Who's the winner?
The winner is Irvin Wright.
Irvin, congratulations. You are the winner of an EcoWare t-shirt. And you made it to the end of the show.
And if you want to get your name on a race car that's going to be racing up a mountain, then you should head over to electricperformance.tv. You can get this really cool shirt. Look at all this stuff we got. We got race support. We got the Electric Performance logo. We got the other Electric Performance logo. Yeah. It's awesome. I really, when we
You getting
set out
pumped for
to
it?
do this thing, we were just like, this is a pie in the sky idea. Now we have 40 people who have their name on the car, and you could be one of them. So head over to electricperformance.tv. You can get this shirt at, what is it, 50% off?
Yeah, 50% off.
50% off. You can get this shirt 50% off if you get your name on the car.
Yep. Along with, a jacket, a hat,
A shirt. Lots of
Yeah.
really
Sweatshirt.
Yeah, lots of fun stuff over there. Help support the team because we can't do it without you. We really do actually need you to do it. So please go do that.
It's a community-sponsored race car. How often do you see something like that?
Yeah, and you've reached the end of this video. So thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button because if you don't hit the like button, you're not cool. Peer pressure. It works, folks.
Now you know.
Now you know.